Hello, my name's Charlie. I'll be your guitar instructor for this series. The lessons in this series are what you would get in my studio one-on-one. The goals of these lessons is for you to be able to, one, read music when you're done with these. Two, play any song you'd like to play as long as you have the music to it. Three, pick a style. I want you to pick a style that you like because I'm going to teach you a few different styles throughout these 12 lessons. And the last one is basically just to have fun with the guitar like I do. So let's get started. Okay, first thing you have to know about the guitar is how to hold it. So the way I want you guys to practice is to, if you have a stool, sit on a stool and cross your left leg over your right leg, so don't put your left knee up there, and you rest your guitar up on your left knee. That puts you in a good position for the left and the right hands. Now the left hand, to get the right position, I want you to make a C with your index finger and your thumb. Put your thumb behind the neck of the guitar and have that top part of the C above it. So now you're in a good, strong left-hand position to access the fretboard. Right hand, basically it's more of a forearm. You take your forearm, rest it on the body of your guitar, and let it drop down so your hand's going across the sound hole. That leaves your wrist kind of loose for strumming. So when we get into the lessons, I'm going to be talking about fingers. Numbers, like numbered fingers. Your thumb, first finger, that's your first finger. I call that 1, 2, 3, and your pinky's your fourth finger. Same goes for your right hand when I start getting into finger picking exercises on the strings. And as far as the string goes, I number them also, and it's a pretty standard numbering thing. The high string, the E string, is your first string. Second string is your B string, coming up towards me. Third string's the G, fourth string's the D, fifth string's the A, the last string is an E, so that's your sixth string. So it's from 1 to 6 up, coming up this way. So I think that's enough now, so we can get into the next segment. Okay, let's get our guitars in tune. I'm going to start with the first string, the E string. I'll play it 3 times and tune your guitars up. Second string, the B string. Third string, G string. Fourth string, the D string. Fifth string, the A string. Sixth string, the E string. Hi, welcome to lesson 1. Before we get our hands on the guitar, we're going to have to learn a little bit about music theory. Just a couple of minutes to get you acquainted with what I'm going to be showing you on the guitar. So if we go over to the board, I'm going to show you a few things on...
Okay, here's a little bit of music fundamentals. Basically, music has a language of its own and an alphabet of its own. The musical alphabet has 7 letters: A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It starts over with A again. Music has something we call a staff. Basically, a staff consists of 5 lines and 4 spaces between those lines. We use those lines and spaces to represent the musical alphabet. So each line and space has a name of the musical alphabet associated with it. The first line, bottom line here, is called an E. Second line up is called a G. Third line is a B. Fourth line is a D. The fifth line is an F. And an easy way to remember that is just remember the sentence, every good boy does fine. Just take the first letter of each word, and that'll be the name of that note. spaces, first space is an F, second space is an A, third space is a C, and your fourth space is an E. If you drop those letters down, it spells the word face. So that's an easy way to remember the names of the notes on the spaces. And if you look, it goes up in sequence: E, F, G, and like I said, it starts over at A, B, C, D, E, F. So that's a little bit about the staff. Now the staff itself is typically divided into things called measures, and we do this by these vertical bars. So from bar to bar, that's one measure of music. A piece of music can have many bars to it, or measures. This sign here is the clef sign. This squiggly looking S here is the treble clef, or the G clef. Basically all guitar music is written in the treble clef. Another type of a clef would be a bass clef, but we're not going to get into that. That's more for bass guitar. So now that we know the names of the notes and how they look on the staff, we need to know how long do we play that note. And we do that with basically the shape of the note. That tells us how long that tone should be played for. Down here, the first type of a note I want to go over is the whole note. It's basically just a little oval. And the whole note gets 4 beats. So you'd play the tone and hold it for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Next type of note we'll see and we'll use is the half note. It's an oval with a stem on it. And a half note gets half the value of the whole note, so that would get 2 beats per note. So as you can see, you can get 2 half notes in the space of 1 whole note. Moving over, the next type of note, common note, is a quarter note. It's an oval filled in with a stem on it. Each quarter note gets 1 beat. So for each count, you would hold that tone for 1 count. The last type of note I want to get into for this series is the eighth note. An eighth note is an oval filled in with a stem and a little tail on it, or they would be connected notes with a bar going across connecting these 2 notes. Eighth notes get a half a beat, so in other words, you can get 2 notes per 1 beat. And you can count that by saying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's what an eighth note is. So these shapes tell us how long we play that note that we see on the staff. Sometimes in music, there's a pause where we're not supposed to play anything. It's just basically a silence. And again, we have figures to represent those on the staff. Your first type of a rest is a whole rest. That's a little square block below the B line there. That's a whole rest, and that's equivalent to a whole note. It gets 4 beats of silence. Next type of rest is a half rest. That's a square box above the B line. That gets 2 beats of silence. It's equivalent to the half note. This squiggly line here is a quarter rest, similar to the quarter note. It gets 1 beat of silence. And this funny looking little 7 here is an eighth rest. It gets 1/2 of a beat of silence, just like your eighth note gets 1/2 of a beat. Sometimes in music you'll see a dot after a note. These are called dotted notes. Basically what it means is you should take the value of the time of the note that the dot is after and add a half of that value to it. So a half note typically gets 2 beats. If we add a dot to it behind that half note, take half of 2, which is 1, and add that, so you would get 3 beats for a dotted half note. The dotted quarter note, typically a quarter note gets 1 beat, as we saw above. If you put a dot after it, a half of 1 is a half, so a dotted quarter note would get 1 and 1/2 beats. Many times in music, you won't fit the piece of music within the confines of the staff, the 5 lines and the 4 spaces. So in music, we have what are called ledger lines that go above the staff and below the staff. And on the guitar, we're going to go pretty far below the staff for the lowest note, and you can go pretty high up for the guitar for the highest note. So pretty much, if you look at this last part here, you have the E. F is your last line of the staff. The note above the F, above the staff, is a G. It just continues on. The line above that would be an A, and so forth. This can go all the way up. And likewise, we can go all the way back down. The first line of the staff is an E. First space below that is a D. First line below that. So again, it goes in sequence: C, D, E, just like we have on the musical alphabet. Music comes in various tempos and speeds, and the way we know this is by a little fraction up front here. It's called a time signature. The top line, the top number, tells us how many beats per measure. So in 4/4 time, we'll use that one. Top 4 means you get 4 beats per measure. The bottom number means which note gets 1 beat, and a 4 means it's a quarter note. That's the most common. 4/4 time is what you hear 90% of music in, or the C, common time, is another way to represent 4/4 time. Some of the other time signatures we'll get into will be 3/4. That's more like a waltz time. So the only difference here is the 3 on top. It means we get 3 beats per measure. Quarter note still gets 1 beat. Another common time signature is 2/4 time, or half time. In this time, we get 2 beats per measure. Still, the quarter note gets 1 beat. Sometimes in music, you want to alter the pitch of the note by half a step, or on the guitar, half of a fret. And we do this with what we call accidentals. There are 3 types of accidental. There's a sharp, a flat, and a natural. We'll go over the sharp first. Basically, if you see a sharp in front of a note, and the sharp looks like a little tic-tac-toe sign, it means we want to raise that note by 1/2 of a fret. 1/2 a tone, or 1 fret, I'm sorry. So a C sharp, you would find out where that C is on the guitar and raise it 1 fret. On the other side of it is a flat sign. It looks like a small B in front of the note. If you put a flat in front of a note, it means lower it by 1 fret, or 1/2 of a tone. The last accidental is a natural. It's a box with 2 lines sticking out of it. That basically means cancel the previous accidental and play that note in its natural position. So a C natural is basically just play the C. Getting into the guitar now, the guitar has 6 strings, and each one is a different note on the staff. So I've shown you here the low 6th string is an E, and that's way down. Using these ledger lines, that's an E note right there. And that, if you play the 6th string open, it would be that note. The 5th string coming up is an A. That's 2 lines below the staff. 4th string is a D, open. 3rd string is a G. That's our every good G. That's their G there. 2nd string open is a B. And the 1st string open is an E. So here I've laid out all the notes on the guitar that we're going to learn, from the low E up to the A on the 5th fret of the 1st string. So let's move on. I think that's enough for music fundamentals, and now we can get into the guitar.
Okay, here's the notes on the 1st string, the open E string. It's your high string. If you play it open with nothing going on your left hand, it's going to be your E. It's the F-A-C-E, that last space on the staff that I showed you. So there's a couple other notes I want you to know on this string. So if you look at my left hand, I'll show you where they are and how you play those. After E in the musical alphabet is the F, and that is on the 1st fret, 1st string, 1st finger. So you press down on that fret, that's the F. That's the last line of the staff, if you remember that. Now you can have notes going above the staff. After the F is a G. That's third finger, third fret, first string. That would be a note that sits right on top of the staff. And I want you to know the high note on this string. Fifth fret, fourth finger is an A. Remember, the musical alphabet starts with an A after the G, and that's the first line above the staff. So that's an A. So you have four notes: open, E, first fret, F, third fret, G, fifth fret, A. So now I'm going to play the E string exercise for you so you know what it should sound like. Okay, here's the notes on the second string, the B string. If you play the second string open with no fingering on the left, it's a B note. It's your third line of the staff coming up. So there's a couple other notes I want you to see. So I'll show you the left hand, you'll show you where they are. After B in the alphabet comes the C. And that's first finger, first fret, second string, that's your C. It's the third space on the staff. After C comes the D. That's on the third fret, third finger. So we've got three notes on the B string. Opens B, first fret's a C, third fret's your D. So let me play the B string exercise for you so you guys know what it should sound like. Okay, here's the notes on the third string, the G string. If you play the third string open, no fingers on the left side, it'll be a G. That's your second line of the staff. And there's another note on the G string I want you to see, so I'll show you where that is. Remember, after G comes A in the musical alphabet, and the A is on the second finger, second fret of the third string. So basically I want you to know two notes on this string right now. Open G, second fret A. So let me play the G string exercise for you so you know what you got. Okay, here's the exercises on the top three strings. This is where we take what we've learned on the top three strings as far as the notes go, and I put them into 6 exercises for you. So here's what they should sound like. Okay, here's a stretch exercise for you for this week. I want to take a look at my left hand. It's a left-handed exercise, and it kind of gets your muscles ready for playing the guitar on the left side. Basically, what I want you to do is take your first finger this week on the first fret, first string, hold that for 4 beats. Your next move is to take your third finger while keeping your first finger there and press on the 3rd fret. So you got both fingers pressing down. Hold that for 4 beats. And while you keep these 2 fingers on, I want you to add your 4th finger up to the 5th fret if you can get it there. Hold that for 4 beats. So that's why they call it the stretch. We're stretching out our fingers on the left side. And I want you to work your way down on all 6 strings. So you come down to the 2nd string and do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3rd string. 4th. 5th. 6th. And that's a good warm-up exercise for you, so that's the stretch. Okay, here's an exercise we call a tremolo. It's a left-handed and a right-handed exercise. There's basically a pattern you play on your left hand with a down-up motion on your right hand with the pick. It's down, up on each note. So that's 4 times I want you to hit the note while playing the pattern on the left. This week's pattern will be easy. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fret. So here's what it should sound like. So when you go slow at first, just get control of your right hand. Don't worry about speed. And move down to the next string, do the same thing. Go through all the strings, doing the same thing. Down, up. Like I said, get control of the pick. Okay, here's this week's gymnastic exercise. This is a left and a right-handed exercise, a little more concentration on the left. On your handouts, I've given you a staff with some music on it. I want you to read those notes and play them with a down-up motion of the pick. So this week we start on the C note on the 2nd string, 1st fret. Down pick. Up pick with the D, 3rd finger, 3rd fret, 2nd string. Down pick on the open E, 1st string open. Up pick with the F, 1st finger, 1st string. Down pick on the G, 3rd fret, and go backwards. Back to the F, open E, D, C. So it's a 1 and a 3 finger pattern, so I'll play it a little faster so you know what you're trying to hit. And you work your way down all the strings in that same pattern. So that's the gymnastic. Just get some control. Don't worry about speed yet with that. Okay, here's this week's chord study. I'm going to show you 4 chords on the guitar. On your handouts, I've drawn up the diagrams of where your fingers should go. And I've also put them on a board over here. I want to go over these diagrams so you understand what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, in this week's lesson, we're going to learn 4 new chords. C, A minor, F, and the G7th. What I do, I draw the top neck of the guitar here in a little diagram. Across here are your frets. That's the 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. Strings are coming down. The dots are where I want you to put your fingers. So this first chord is a C chord. So the first string I want you to play, that O means play that 1st string open. 2nd string means I want you to put your 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. The O on the third string means play that open. 2 up here means put your second finger, second fret, fourth string. Fifth string, I want you to put your third finger on the third fret. And the sixth string, that X means don't play that string at all. So this is a 5-chord string. And for the other 4 chords, I do the same thing. We have an A minor, and there's its pattern. F chord with its pattern, and the G7th with its pattern. These are all printed in your handouts, so you have them to refer to. And in the next segment, I'll show you how to put your fingers on the guitar and play these chords.
Okay, the first one I want you to know is the C chord. That's one I just showed you over there. And the easiest way to do it is to look at the diagram, see where your finger goes, and work your way in. Find out where your first finger goes. Well, on this one, first finger, second fret. Remember, the first string's played open, so you got that so far, first 2 strings. And you look at the diagram, it says the G is open, so that's your top 3. Now it says second finger, second fret, fourth string. So it's that. And the last finger you want to put on there is the third finger on the third fret, fifth string. So that's your C chord. Now to make sure you have it right, you want to play each note individually. Each string to sing, ring out crisply. So that's the C chord. Now the next chord is the A minor chord this week. It's a lot like the C, but there's one move you have to make. Basically, it's the first string open again. First finger on the first string, first finger on the second string, first fret. Second finger on the fourth string, second fret. And then I want you to tuck your third finger on the second string, second fret behind it. And you play the fifth string open. So that's your A minor. That's a real nice chord. Next chord we're going to do is the F chord. This has got something a little different in it. It's got a bar in it. And basically what you do, your first finger is going to play the first 2 strings on the first fret. So you're going to take your C, pinch down, make sure you get the 2 notes coming out of those first 2 strings. It's on the first fret. Second finger, second fret, third string. And the last thing is the third finger, third fret, fourth string. That's your F chord. And the last chord for this week is the G7th chord. That again looks like a C with a couple of moves. You take your first finger, first string, first fret. And the next 3 strings are open. Take your second finger to the 5th string, second fret. Then you add your third finger to the 6th string, 3rd fret. And I want you to play all 6 strings on this chord. So that's your 4 chords for this week. Basically, I've given you a little exercise there, and I'll play it for you. And I just want you to get used to changing from chord to chord, so don't worry about speed yet. Practice your chords with that little pattern I've given you. Okay, let's get into this week's song, The Blue-Tailed Fly. It's going to have the chords that we learned in this lesson. So what I've done, I've recorded the melody, and I'll play the chords along with it so you hear what it should sound like. And then after I'm done, I'll play it clean for you, the melody, so you have something to practice against. So let's take a listen. Okay, that's it with me playing it, so I'm going to play it clean, and now you guys can play it. Just follow the music and try to strum the chords easy.